welcome back to another episode of the Format Podcast Live. This is a special Thursday edition where I'm going to get into, again, we're hopefully going to get into Stephen A's last comments on this whole LeBron James thing. And I thought this was really good. He took it there on this one, right? He took it there. I thought that he went in on Gil's Arena, but on this one, he finally said perceivably everything that he had to say. So we're gonna take some time and we're gonna get into that. We're gonna listen to his comments on a recent episode of the Stephen A. Smith Show, hear what he had to say, and hopefully this will be the wrap to this topic, man. What's good, Transformer? What's going on, man? How you doing, brother? How you doing? Yeah, man, Chef Boyar Steve, man, he was cooking. So we're definitely going to get into that. But before we get into the main topic, y'all know what time it is. If you're watching here on YouTube, make sure you go ahead, click that subscribe, that like, that notification bell. Make sure you're kept aware anytime we drop new content on the channel. If you want the audio only version of the podcast, open up your audio podcast platform, hit the search bar, type in The Format Podcast, and we should come right up. If you enjoy the content as you listen, make sure you give us a like, a 5-star review, and drop a comment. All that stuff helps us rise in the algorithm, helps us find more sports fans, helps more sports fans find us. And write it down, put it in your phones, make a note of it. The Format Podcast is live Sunday mornings at 10 a.m. Eastern. And finally, if you're really and truly enjoying the podcast and you want to help the show continue to grow, make sure you go ahead, click that join button, join the channel. We're going to have some exclusive content just for you. All right. Yes, we are. And what's going on, Chief? Sid Bubba, how you doing, my brother? How are you? Shout out to members of the channel, man. My main guy, Laker Nation, 1. Sid Bubba, 2. Bruce from Baltimore, 3. And of course, It's Not That Serious, number 4, man. Shout out to you guys. Thank you so much for the way that you support this channel. Thank you so much for the way you guys are here, the way you guys interact with the show, man. I appreciate all y'all. Okay. Enough of this Navy loving you know what? Nope, I don't even get to say that. What's going on, gentlemen? What's going on? I don't get to say anything for about another 280 something days or something like that. So y'all go ahead and y'all do your thing. Matter of fact, shout out to those boys from Annapolis, man. Shout out to the midshipmen. Hopefully we get our lick back come December. You're right, Transformer. I can't say anything. So let's go ahead and talk about it, man. Let's talk about it. So here's the deal. Stephen A. Smith was obviously, he's got his show. I think he does Monday, Wednesday, Fridays in the afternoon on YouTube. Entertaining show. Talks about a variety of things, as you guys know. But we're here to talk specifically about his recent commentary where he was responding to what Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony said on Carmelo Anthony's pod, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn, regarding the tiff between he and LeBron, I guess a week, 2 weeks ago now? Is it 2 weeks ago? I don't know, 2 weeks ago, I think it was. And so, everybody in the sports media world has had multiple commentaries on this thing. And I actually did a YouTube short. You can check that out after this, regarding the commentary that D Wade and Melo made, and regarding that, the commentary that D Wade and Melo made. And I thought it was pretty interesting, but Stephen A's going to kind of go more into depth about it. So he's got a lot to say, and I thought it was really interesting. But before we get right into what Stephen A had to say in response to their commentary, there's something else that I wanted to delve into regarding LeBron James, right? So here's the deal. Let me say this first. You guys know I went to school for journalism, and I did IT in the military, right? Satellite communications and help desk and all that kind of stuff, right? And so I say that to say I have no academic training in psychology or psychiatry or any type of diagnosis of mental health, etc., right? However, I can read and I can research. And so with that, there was something I wanted to point out here. Now, let me make this clear. I'm issuing a disclaimer. In no way am I attempting to diagnose another person, as I am not credentialed to do it. And even if I was credentialed to do it, I had never actually been in an environment with this person as a patient, so I could not do that. That said, I wanted to make a little comment on something we've seen, right? One thing that I always talk about, and that's LeBron James's inability to accept accountability, right? I always talk about, yes, we are, Nino. What's going on, my brother? Good morning. Good morning. We are live, sir. I always talk about LeBron James's inability to accept accountability, right? How he's always got to blame something on someone else, how his team always has to blame something on someone else, how his inability to get things done so often is someone else's fault. We see Shannon Sharp and Nick Wright and the teeming millions of LeBronite and LeBroniac fans out there that always have something to blame, and he can never accept accountability, right? So I looked it up and I said, I actually put this prompt and I said, inability to accept accountability for one's own actions are reflective of what mental health conditions, right? Now, this is what I came up with. This is what was given to me as a result of that prompt. Narcissistic personality disorder. Now, remember, we had our guy Drama Therapy, who is a licensed clinician, right? Now, mind you, he also has said that he cannot technically diagnose LeBron James because he's never been his patient, but he says by what he exhibits, LeBron is a textbook narcissist. I have another guy who follows the show, our guy Lou, who is also a licensed clinician, and he also says that LeBron is a textbook narcissist. But for those of y'all who don't want to believe it and think I'm just hating on Bron, and I'm not saying he is a narcissist, I'm saying that his inability to accept accountability for his own actions are very consistent with certain conditions. 1, narcissistic personality disorder. Key feature: individuals with NPD often struggle to accept responsibility because it threatens their grandiose self-image. They may deflect blame onto others to protect their ego. Why? Admitting fault feels intolerable due to their need for adoration and perceived superiority. Signs: externalizing blame, lack of empathy, and a tendency to rewrite narratives to cast themselves as victims or heroes. Very interesting how that works, isn't it? All right, next. Here's another one. Histrionic personality disorder. Key feature: those with HPD may avoid accountability as a way to maintain attention or avoid criticism. Why? Their self-worth is tied to external validation, and accepting fault could disrupt that. Signs: dramatic behavior, exaggerated emotions, and a need to be the center of attention. Okay? I know I'm making this stuff up, right? Here's one more. Avoidant personality disorder, AVPD. Key feature: while less about deflection and more about avoidance, individuals with AVPD might sidestep accountability due to extreme fear of criticism or failure. Why? Taking responsibility feels like exposing themselves to judgment they can't handle. Signs: social withdrawal, hypersensitivity to rejection, and reluctance to engage in conflict. This is very interesting. I'm just saying, again, I have no background in psychology or psychiatry. I have no ability to diagnose anyone. And even if I did, I have never had this man as a patient, so I couldn't diagnose him. However, from what he demonstrates publicly, it sure seems like he fits the bill for at least 3 different mental health disorders based on his own behavior. I'm going to leave it there. I thought it was very interesting. And the reason I did that is because, well, you'll see as we go on. All right, so let's get to it. Let's get with Stephen A. Smith and what he had to say regarding Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony and their commentary on this whole thing, right? Now, I haven't had a chance to get with you guys regarding the 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. I didn't do a whole show on that. Like I said, I just did a YouTube short, cut a couple quick parts, and that got to it. But let's get into the meat and bones of this thing. We got about 17 minutes of clip here with Stephen A. talking and these guys, and you know how I do by now, right? I play it, I stop it, I get into it, I get out of it, right? That's what I do, and we talk about everything that's going on. I give my commentary. I love doing it this way because it just it's good because, you know, one, if we were to play the whole thing, then people would get very bored. And secondly, if we were able to play the whole thing, I would totally forget all the points that I had and I'd have to be writing the whole time. All right, so let's go.
I want to put an end once and for all to this discussion about yours truly and LeBron James in light of what happened last week. Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony, both of whom know LeBron very well, weighed in on the situation between me and LeBron when LeBron rolled up on me courtside last week of the Lakers game. They weighed in on the situation on Melo's podcast, 7 p.m. in Brooklyn. Check out what the fellas had to say, please. Take a look at this.
It's dual sides once again. You know, I mean, I think you understand both sides. If you're that person who wants to understand both sides, I told him as a father, I'm walking up on you.
Right.
I get it. Cause I'm like that too. Like I'm at you.
Of course.
But also, you know, what I told him, I said, and I think we've never seen LeBron do that. Like we've never seen, like LeBron don't even go back at players that foul him too hard on the court.
So real quick, let's start right here. Let's start with this commentary, right? A lot of people have gotten on me because I've called what LeBron did a sucker move, right? And that's exactly part of the reason I called it a sucker move. Hear what Dwayne Wade just said. We've gotten on LeBron for years because we've never even seen him go back at players who foul him too hard on the court, right? So you can literally physically attack LeBron, right, by going at him too hard on the court, and he'll never respond. But you don't like what a small guy, small to you, says, so you run up on him. Very interesting how that works, right? See, this is what I talk about. This is why I say that was a sucker move. But let's carry on.
We've never seen him be like, he's always been just even keel and level headed in every aspect. And sometimes you want him to jump, sometimes you want him to go, and he won't. And so to watch the clip and watch him on that bench and see Stephen A over there, he couldn't take it. He couldn't take it. I mean, he could not stand it.
They got the memo. Yo, Stephen A, he coming tonight. He coming to the game tonight.
He knew it because he saw him in warm up.
Yeah.
You know, it was burning him. But, you know, I told him, I said, you know, Stephen, I think the one thing is, and first of all, I take it as that's a sign of respect that LeBron did that to you.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, I know
he knows the power of Stephen A's voice.
He understands that. And I told him, I said, and that's the thing. Your microphone is the loudest. Your platform is the biggest. And also you're a black man.
Yeah.
And I said, you know what I mean? So you got to understand, you know, where he's coming from with that. If he even approached you, because yes.
So I don't understand. I really don't. Like, they try to explain it, but that's I still haven't been able to figure out how that's a sign of respect by disrespecting me, right? Well, you never know, right? Papoose once said they don't know the only way to get respect is disrespect. So I don't know, but I don't see you disrespecting me as being a sign of respect. I don't see it that way. So you say that Transformer says their voice isn't as powerful. But the point is, it's not even about the voice, right? We're talking about Skip Bayless's voice is powerful, and Skip Bayless has been way more egregious in the way he's talked about LeBron for the past 22 years. Meanwhile, Stephen A's been one of the main mouthpieces propping up LeBron for 22 years. But LeBron ran up on Stephen A. He never said anything to Skip. I'm just saying. All right, let's get back to the commentary.
The Skip Bayless of the world and all these guys have said things about him his entire career, and he's been above it.
There is a fine line of I am a father, but you can't separate the fact that he is your teammate as well. You know what I'm saying? And he's in this league to be critiqued. I just think this has been a build-up. We're talking 22 years. Like, this ain't got nothing to do with Bronny.
Okay, so Sid Bubba said it. I said it. Others have said it. All of a sudden, now we know that this has nothing to do with Bronny. So this is real interesting with the LeBroniacs, right? Because they've been getting on me. Oh, he talk about that man's son. Of course LeBron gonna walk up on him. He talk about that man's son. Okay, cool. Now it has nothing to do with Bronny. Well, he disrespected him as a father. He disrespected him well, which is it? He disrespected LeBron. He talked about his son. Which one is it? Let's pick one. But LeBroniacs, wherever the narrative goes, that's where they going to run and follow. And shout out to Charles Dreamers Pro. They going to run, they going to follow, twerking it up, knocking over tables, slapping honey all over each other, right? Fighting over the honey, right? I'm not going to steal that line, but I love when he says that. I think it's hilarious. But let's continue.
It's just the fact that Bronny is a part of the conversation now, and he also got to protect his seed. You get what I'm saying? You got to protect the kingdom, no matter how old it is. Like, he's Bronny. That's my dad.
So something Melo says, you got to protect the kingdom no matter how old they are. Now this is just the difference in parenting mentality. So I'm not going to say it's wrong or right. I'm going to say, me personally, I totally disagree with that, because the whole point of training your son to be a man is that once he becomes one, you don't need to protect him and fight his battles anymore. That's up to him, right? Because if my son is grown and I poured everything I could into him, right, as I am doing now, Transformer knows my son, and I'm trying to pour everything I can into him, trying to create a warrior scholar, you know what I'm saying, and do everything and make him the type of young man that not only makes his father proud, but exceeds his father in life in just about everything he tries to do. Once I've done that, it's not for me to fight his battles. You understand? I have prepared him, so now he has to go out into the world and fight his own battles. But again, I'm not going to knock it. Everyone has different parenting philosophies. But for me, the whole point of prepping my son is so that when he steps out into the world, he's as ready as he can be. Drama therapy, what's going on, my brother? I referenced you earlier. You say it's not a sign of respect. Stephen A has a platform that can threaten LeBron's grandiose self-image. By the way, guys, remember when I read the narcissism stuff at the beginning of this episode? Grandiose self-image. Now, this drama therapy, this is someone who is educated and credentialed, right, in psychology and psychiatry. Not me. I just went with what I looked up. But this is someone who knows, and he's speaking to it. So there you go. It is not a sign of respect. Stephen A has a platform that can threaten LeBron's grandiose self-image. Other platforms, LeBron doesn't view large enough, and he's more superior than them. Absolutely. Absolutely. Let's carry on.
So Bron got to protect that. But there's also energy with those two and those crews. And just as from over the years of just build up.
Yep. So again, my question, why do they keep talking about this over the years of buildup, right? If you had a problem with someone else, again, a Skip Bayless or even a Bruce Hope who's a nobody, but let's just say hypothetically, LeBron heard the Format podcast and says, Bruce Hope always going at this dude. Bruce Hope is a lame, he's whack, whatever. Okay, cool. You got a right to feel that way about me. But why Stephen A? Stephen A has consistently sung your praises and been the mouthpiece of the largest sports media entity on this planet, the one that constantly pushes the false narratives about your greatness. And Stephen A has consistently named you as the number 2 player of all time in his book. And many people on the network, which Stephen A is the biggest voice of, have you as the greatest player of all time. So what buildup are you referring to, Mello? I really don't understand that, but let's go on.
This ain't no love relationship that we talk. This ain't love friendship that we talk about. They
don't have a friendship,
right? So this is it is what it is in a sense, right? This just Stephen A doing what he's supposed to do over the years. Bron doing what he's doing over the years, and this is what happens. Some shit might get misconstrued. I might not like what you say. I might not with you. I ain't gonna deal with you. But the fact that I think the energy is because we dealing with two juggernauts in their respective fields, right? Bron being who he is, Stephen A being who he is. A lot of people don't know that history between those two. The only thing people know is what Stephen A may say or what he may not say. Bron has never spoken on any situation with Stephen A. So if I'm sitting there for 20 plus years and I'm just taking all of this information, all the shit that you've said to me is about me over the years. Now my son is the trigger.
I'm going to drop the mic on all of this right now, once and for all. We going to put this shit to bed. I want to thank Dwayne Wade and Carmelo Anthony for saying what they said. Some of the details were missed. Like, for example, he didn't see me, warm-ups because I didn't get there until a few minutes into the first quarter. But when you sit in courtside, they kind of know who's going to be there. And I'm quite sure he was alerted I was going to be there. But that's neither here nor there. D. Wade is told 1,000% truth when he said what he texted me and said to me, because we do have a relationship. I love that brother. That's my dog. And I feel the same way about Carmelo Anthony. We all go back years. And I love them both. So I really appreciate the conversation that they had. And I appreciate the perspective they both provided, because for the most part, it was pretty spot on. A couple of things that need to be noted. Like Mello said, it's been stewing for years. See, what I've gotten pissed about with this particular subject is that too many people are not touching on the truth. Mello and D. Wade did. Me and LeBron don't have a relationship. LeBron don't mess with me and I don't mess with him. I respect the hell out of him. He's number 2 on the list all time. And I didn't always feel this way about him. There are times I didn't like how he treated black media. I'm not talking about myself because I'm on a certain level and I watched how others got treated and I didn't like that. But it didn't take away from his unquestionable greatness, his deified status that he has earned.
Real quick, Stephen A mentions how LeBron has treated black media in the past. And I'm really curious to know who that is and what those situations were, right? Because LeBron likes to play himself or present himself as, a black advocate. And I'm really curious to know what that's about. Obviously, Stephen A., as he always says, knows a lot that he doesn't put out there. But I'm very curious to know what those situations are and with whom they took place, because I'm very curious. I'm very curious because like I said, he always he wants to present himself as some type of black advocacy guy, and if he was mistreating black people in the media just trying to do their jobs, I would find that quite interesting and hypocritical.
As one of the top 2 or 3 greatest players in the history of basketball. And I never deviate from that. I've always been kind to his family. I think his wife is the first lady of the NBA, class personified. I think his mom is an absolutely wonderful woman. I don't have to talk to Randy much. That's a good brother. Rich Paul and me are pretty damn cool. Rich is good people. So I'm cool with Mav as well and various other people. But me and LeBron, we don't roll like that. High and by. He ain't have much use for me, and I damn sure don't have much use for him. And that shit was cemented when he did what he did the other day, because you rolled up on me knowing that I wouldn't have a chance to respond.
That's a big thing that I've always said, right? Through this whole thing, that LeBron was... People say that he just lost it and went over there, but I think it was calculated. He did it very specifically to that point that Stephen A. just made, knowing that Stephen A. wouldn't have an opportunity to respond, right? And you see a lot of people who are on LeBron's side in this thing, and they're saying, okay, well, Stephen A. always says, I'm at the arena, you can find me, I'm not hard to find. Cool. Stephen A. does say that, but he's not saying come over in a timeout where there's only 30 seconds where you can basically, you can verbally accost me, you can curse me out, and then I have no opportunity to respond, because Stephen A. has said from the beginning, and I think he'll say it in this clip as well, like, you could have talked to me in the back, we could have had a discussion like men, we could have hashed it out, and there's going to be some other things that he has to say, but this just keep listening, you'll see. But yeah, that's what I've been saying from the beginning. LeBron knew what he was doing in running up on him and not giving him an opportunity to respond.
Unless I was willing to make a scene, which was at courtside while the national televisions were rolling on the day that my new contract had been announced to the world. But it doesn't stop me from being fair. It's not going to stop me from doing my job. Nope. My issue, which is why I appreciated where Melo went, because Melo put it where the GOATs can get it. We don't have that kind of relationship. So what the hell you use your son for? I'm shitting on your son. That's not true. Bronny James, that is not true. To the James family and all your close confidants and loved ones, that is not true. I have video documentation with me refusing to cover Bronny, never watching him out of respect for the family. Because if Stephen A. rolls into a gym or an arena and I see him, everyone's going to ask for my critique of him. And I have been on the record publicly stating that's not fair to that kid.
The only thing I'll say about that, I really didn't agree with him not doing that. However, he kept that very consistent, because he didn't do it for Kmart's son. He didn't do it for Gilbert Arenas' son. He didn't do it for D Wade's son. So like all the sons of the guys he knows in the league, he didn't have anything to say about them either until they came into the league as players. So I respect that. He definitely didn't. He didn't just do that for Bronny, because my question has always been, well, why didn't you? That's part of your job. But he kept that a buck across the board for all these guys. So I respect it. Okay. Horizon Vibes, #Lakers rebuild. What's going on, man? Thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit that like and subscribe. I appreciate you, brother. And make sure you hit that share button, because the share button is powerful. And if you like the show, chances are you're going to have some people in your circle who might enjoy it as well. But let's get back to it. Again, thank you for being here.
Because his father is one of the greatest ever, and they're going to judge him harshly, and I didn't want to be a part of it. I can look into the camera and look at Bronny James and say, factually, that is not correct. I have not been shitting on that kid at all. That is factually incorrect. Now, D Wade says, well, you were talking about him, but no, I really wasn't. The reason I say that is because, as Rich Paul pointed out, when he said I could have contextualized it better, it's not foreign to me that a second-round pick will come into the NBA and is not ready yet, and they'll just work hard, go in the G League, come back and forth, and they'll get better. Just like Kenyon Martin told me his son did when I was on Gil's Arena last week. So that's not foreign to me. I wasn't talking about him. I was talking about his father. And why was I talking about his father? Because not me, But the media, some publicly, many privately, literally labeled it parental abuse, that he would say, my son is better than some of these dudes in the league right now.
Now, we know from other things we've heard, other things that we've heard about this guy was what? That, what was it? I'm sorry, I lost my train of thought there. Okay, let's go on. My bad. I totally lost my train of thought, but let's continue.
You want me? Draft my son. It ain't even about the money at this point. I want to play in the league with my son for the year. You did that. That was LeBron James. That was not Stephen A. Smith. I did not do that. So when he came up to me claiming, you shitting on my son, I didn't know what he was talking about because I'm the one person who didn't until January 29th. And even then, I don't believe I did it. I pointed out how his start was very, very bad, but his performance in the G League was good. Let him go there and get himself better because you, as the dad, put him in this microscopic spotlight.
Funny. The great Magic Johnson said it too. I didn't see LeBron running up on him. Very interesting how that works, isn't it? But he ran up on the little guy. Carrying on.
And you're going to subject him to stuff that is going to be too much. That's all I was saying. So we got the Draymond Greens out there with his damn podcast. For some reason, suddenly forgetting my character and who I am. And he's talking about, it was weak of Stephen A. to say that LeBron was weak or to bring it up as a father. And oh, by the way, where I'm from, we put hands on you. You sure you should be saying that, Draymond? You sure? I mean, you sure that's the word you want to use? We should be putting hands on somebody. Has that not worked against you? Jordan Poole, Nurkic, Rudy Gobert. I mean, I'm just asking.
Question. Seriously. All right. Y'all know I don't like to play the racial game here, but I got a question. We have so many brothers, and by brothers, I say my African-American brothers, who are constantly talking about, Black empowerment, and that's wonderful, and Black unity, and that's even better, and all these things, right? Cool. No issue there. But how come we have so many so-called pro-Black people who are advocating for LeBron and Stephen A. that LeBron should have smacked him or LeBron should have put hands on him? Now you got Draymond talking about where I'm from. We put hands on people. Why would you want a multimillionaire and a billionaire fighting on national TV? Two brothers. Somebody explain that to me. Why would you want that? How is that good for Black people? All you pro-Black people out there who are advocating this foolishness. How is that good? Somebody explain that to me. That's nonsense. That's utter nonsense. Who would that benefit? And real talk, all love to talk about how LeBron is a billionaire. LeBron had put hands on Stephen A. Stephen A. has enough money to hire outstanding lawyers. Half that, about $500 million would have been gone. Right? Because if I'm Stephen A. doing my job, LeBron put hands on me, I'm not even trying to defend myself. I'm down on the ground. I'm showing up to work with the neck brace and all that. About half of that billion is going to be in my account. Now, we're not doing that. But in all seriousness, that's so ignorant. Let's see. Nino says, so let me get this straight. Stephen A. can say what he wants and call stuff weak, but a couple players questioned Stephen A. character. Now it's unfair. So Stephen A. said that the move LeBron pulled was weak. And I happen to agree. Nino, I'm consistent on this from the beginning. What I call this, Nino, you were there. I called this a sucker move, right? That's what I called it because it was. And the reason it was weak, not because LeBron necessarily responded, but because to Dwayne Wade, his boy, his own point, we've seen LeBron James get physically accosted, verbally accosted for 22 years, and he's never run up on anybody. But then he runs up on the journalist that's 6'2", maybe 6'3", 200 pounds when you're 6'9", 260, 270, right? That makes you a tough guy. That is weak. That's what we call in technical parlance bullying, right? And bullies get handled. Again, I'm not advocating that anybody should be fighting, especially not, as Melo said, two titans of their respective industries. But the point is, that's when you decide to do it. Why you didn't run up on Skip? Okay, cool. That's another journalist. Fine. Why didn't you run up on Magic? He's 6'9", 260. He could look you eye to eye. That's why you didn't run up on Magic. That's why you've never run up on anybody. I keep hearing about Isaiah Stewart. Why you didn't run up on him? You didn't want that smoke. You only wanted with somebody you think you can herb up. That's the problem. That's why it's weak. See what I'm saying? And the reason some of these players, especially Draymond, is questioning Stephen A's character, and that's unfair, is because one thing we could say, Stephen A's been consistent all these years in how he's dealt with things. All right. Let's see. LeBron never addressed UFC fighters who said wild stuff about him and Bronny. That's a fact. Why didn't he do that? Right. Why didn't he run up on Chael Sonnen or anybody else? Why didn't he do that? This is what I'm saying. This is why from the beginning, I called this whole thing a sucker move, because it was a sucker move. Real talk. That's not how real tough guys move. And Draymond, that's another one. I don't think he's a real tough guy either, but he always got a lot to say. But it is what it is. Let's go on.
I'm just asking, is that the smartest thing for you to say? Particularly when you want to be in this business when it's all over? Is that the smartest thing for you to say? But you go ahead, bro. God bless you. I understand where you rolling now.
And how you better than me.
It's cool. I got nothing bad to say about Draymond. I still got love for Draymond. My point in all of this is I would never call out somebody as a father for stuff that's going on in the privacy of your life in your home. But I covered the NBA. And what I was talking about when it came to fatherhood was what we were seeing on an NBA basketball court.
Great point, Stephen A. Real quick, I wanted to address Drama Therapy's comment here. Drama Therapy, absolutely. If LeBron paints his character as a great father to the world, then the world has the right to criticize. Absolutely. And this, if you watch the short that I did, the YouTube short we're talking about the commentary that Melo and D Wade made. I said that right at the end of that video. I'm sorry. It was the one I did about Bronny Jones, because Bronny Jones actually asked the question because he had Nick Wright on his show. And of course they had to discuss it. Bronny Jones basically asked the question, like, I'm wondering at what point is it fair to question someone's behavior as a father when they put their behavior as a father out there for the entire world to see. You see, this is the problem with LeBron. He wants to put everything out there for public consumption. And it's not just LeBron. I think this is this generation on a whole. You want everything out for public consumption, right? But when people say things you don't like, you want to push back and complain. Well, how about this? Don't put your whole life out there. You see, this is, again, that lack of accountability. You put everything out there so everything can see, so everyone can see, because you want that attention, right? You want that adulation. You want that praise. But when the criticism comes, you don't want that. And I keep asking the same question, y'all. Where in life do you only get positive reinforcement and there's never any criticism? Nowhere. That's not how life works. Period. Horizon Vibes says, oh, this is a good analogy. Never pick a fight with someone who buys ink by the barrel. Wow. LeBron needs to tread carefully. Those ESPN media members have been carrying his legacy for over a decade. And that's the thing. This is what I don't understand. He's upset with Stephen A. And even through all of this, Stephen A. is maintaining that he's the second best player of all time. But you're going to hear close to the end why LeBron is really upset about that. All right, let's continue.
That's my job. I'm supposed to ignore that while he's wearing a Lakers uniform, while he's getting money that most people wouldn't get, that he deserves because of LeBron, because LeBron is underpaid. I'm supposed to ignore all of this while you're in the purple and gold, while you're wearing an NBA uniform, while you're receiving an NBA check. When I covered the NBA, that's where I disagreed with Dwayne Wade. When he said, I'm coming at you, I'm like, because of Dwayne Wade that I know would have picked up on I was talking about D Wade, not his son. LeBron tried to say I was talking about his son when he knew good and damn well I was talking about him.
Nino, check this out, man. I see your comment here. Because Bron puts himself out as a great father, we have the right to criticize it. Wildest thing I ever heard in my life. Okay, let me use another analogy, right? Let's take the fatherhood off the table. Let's say I say I'm the greatest podcaster in the world, right? Okay. By every metric, I am far from the greatest podcaster in the world, right? I'm just out here trying to do my thing, trying to grow a channel, enjoying kicking it with y'all, sharing my thoughts with everybody, right? Cool. But I say I'm the greatest podcaster in the world. I'm putting my thoughts out here for public consumption, right? Do you know how many negative comments and all this I get on the content that I create? Right? But guess what? I'm putting it out there. Do the recipients not have the right to criticize it? I'm putting it out there, right? People can say, oh, Bruce, you ugly. People can say, Bruce, you corny. Bruce, you a know-it-all. Bruce, you a lame. Bruce, you a hater. Bruce, you talk lies. This, that, and the third. Get all that. No problem. But guess what? I'm putting myself out there. So I have to understand that where many people may agree with me, many people may criticize me. That is the nature of life. Life is a duality. Life is heads and tails. Life is yin and yang. Life is yes and no. Life is plus and minus. Why is that so hard for LeBron James and his LeBroniacs to understand? When you put yourself out there, it will not only be positive reinforcement that comes back. Same thing. I'm going to give you my favorite analogy. Beautiful woman, sexy woman, right? Curves in all the right places, beautiful face, all that. She goes to an outing. She wants the attention of a particular guy. She dresses in a way so as to attract said attention. But guess what? There's also going to be the attention coming from guys whose attention she doesn't want. And those guys say something to her and she's like, get away from me. You're harassing me, right? That's not how it works. Somebody explain to me how you think that in life, no matter what you do, you're only going to get praise. Michael Jordan's the greatest basketball player of all time. No question. Did he only get praise? Magic Johnson, the greatest point guard of all time, hands down, my number 2 player of all time. They called him Tragic Johnson, destroyed him after the 84 finals when they lost to the Celtics. Destroyed him, right? But they called him Tragic Johnson, as great as he is. Michael Jordan, they got on him about the gambling and the drinking and the late night partying and the whatever else, right? They got on him. But that's just part of life when you're a public figure. That's how it goes. So come on, Nino, we got to stop this. Why is it that only LeBron is the guy who should somehow just be totally removed from all criticism? I know you're a LeBron fan, Nino, but you're also a smart guy. You call this channel a lot. You know that doesn't make sense, man. Moving on.
We sit here today. It's a week later, and I'm not going to talk about this anymore. But let me say this to y'all. It's a week later. I'm not backing up from a word I said. I was right. I was doing my job. And in the process of doing my job, I wasn't doing my job when I didn't talk about them. All of those years, I cover basketball. I don't just cover the NBA. I am a sports broadcaster, which means that it was perfectly within my right to go to Sierra Canyon and cover him, to go to USC and cover him, to go to the G League if I wanted to and cover him, because I cover sports. To get on me otherwise is to get on me for doing my job. So that's where a Draymond is wrong. And talking about father. Why did I mention father? Because you said my son is better than some of the dudes in the league right now before he got here. And you said you want me draft my son. At this point, it ain't about the money. I just want to play with him for a year. That's what you said. Which is why a whole bunch of people who ain't Stephen A. Smith, who don't have my microphone, who don't have my platform, was talking about him behind his back and talking about LeBron and what he was doing as a father who happens to be the greatest attraction in the game today.
Real quick, what does Stephen A. mean talking about LeBron and Bronny behind their back? This is a social media era. If you're tweeting it, they'll know, right? If you Instagram post it, they'll know. If you do real short shows like this, they'll know. I'm not sure what's the deal with the whole behind his back thing. But, yeah, see, Nino, now that's what you got to say. Of course we're right. Not of course we're right as in we're never wrong, but, 80% rule. But anyway, the point is, no, I've always said I don't want to be famous. I just want the money, right? If I could get the money without the fame, that would be perfect for me. But no, that's the whole point, man. In life, there is a duality, man. And we've got to, not we, LeBron James and his people have to stop acting like somehow he should be just devoid of criticism and he's the only dude that should never be criticized for whatever reason. That's crazy.
Melo's right. This wasn't about Bronny. This was an excuse that LeBron was looking for to get at me, which, by the way, would not have been a problem. We could have met in the back. We could have had a man-to-man conversation where I had an opportunity to respond and point to him about what he did to put his son in this microscopic spotlight.
So remember 2 things, right? LeBron is passive aggressive, so he doesn't really know how to handle things man to man, right? Normally, it's tweeting some cryptic thing that doesn't make any sense or that people have to figure out, right? He doesn't know how to pull somebody to the side and talk to them man to man. So he's passive aggressive, right? And then we saw this situation, right? He's a narcissist. He had to get all that attention. And then also he's a control freak. So he felt that by doing it in the way he did it, he could completely control the situation. So we got a number of things going on there. And that is why LeBron didn't handle it the way it should have been handled, the way men should handle it.
That I personally have tried to avoid for 3 years. But he didn't give me that opportunity. Just like he didn't give me the opportunity when The Shop was on HBO.
Check this
and
out.
Mav came up to me and Rich came up to me and they said, yo, we want you on The Shop. Hell yeah, we want you on The Shop. With LeBron, it'll be box office. I said, name the time and place I show up. I only got one condition. Nothing gets edited out. Nothing. Let me go. He's so right. He's so righteous. Let's do it. His show, not mine. Don't come on first, take, I ain't helping his ratings. Don't come on his YouTube show, his podcast. Nah, I ain't helping his numbers. I'll come on your show. We know it'll help numbers. At the very least, we know I could do that. Nobody was hiding. Crickets. Never heard from them since. And I know that ain't their fault. Because I know Mav will put me on in a heartbeat. Rich, Paul, and the rest of the crew. All of them.
So very interesting, right? So they wanted Stephen A on The Shop with LeBron. Stephen A says, only stipulation, don't edit anything. Let it all come out. But see, what do I talk about all the time? LeBron's need to control the media. So not only does he want you to come on his show, but he wants you to come on his show and he wants you to edit it to make it look the way he wants it to look. He doesn't want it for real. See what I'm saying? That need to control the media, that incessant need. So, but Stephen A is not dumb enough to fall for that. That's why he says, okay, cool. I'll come on your show. No problem. Just don't edit anything out. They never reached back out to him. LeBron said, nah, I can't handle that. Nope. That's a great question, Horizon. What happened to The Shop? I haven't seen anyone talk about that show in a hot minute. I don't know. That's a great question. Maybe the ratings weren't what they wanted it to be. I don't know. Maybe nobody picked it up because it wasn't moving units. I mean, we like to think that. And in many cases, LeBron is a needle mover, but maybe that particular show wasn't getting it done. Yeah, I don't know.
In a heartbeat, I'd show up by my damn self, or I'd show up with my own boys, and we could all bring facts to the table. But I was never taken up on that offer.
So you hear what he says. I would have shown up when we could all bring facts to the table. But we know that LeBron and LeBroniacs do not like facts. We know they don't like facts, right? They can say they like facts. They can say they like stats. But when you show facts or stats that doesn't favor their king, all of a sudden facts and stats don't matter, right? I've literally had people tell me, I don't give a damn about your statistics. I don't give a damn what all those numbers say. LeBron, blah, blah, blah. They don't like facts. They don't like stats. That's why when Stephen A says that, they was like, nope, can't have that.
You see, I don't run and hide. If I'm wrong, I'll say I'm wrong. If I'm right, I'm right. I was never shitting on Bronny James. I wouldn't do that to the James family. I was talking about one person. And one person only. We may never speak in life again. I'm fine with it. I get paid to talk about folks, not to them. I cover the league. You play, I watch, dissect, analyze, and broadcast. We ain't gotta communicate. We damn sure don't have to say hello to each other. We don't have to do none of that. We don't get along. And there's a multitude of reasons why. I've alluded to some of them. But we know what the biggest reason is. I ain't Shannon Sharp. It ain't GOAT status this way.
Whoa. So this, when I heard him say that, I was like, yo, that's crazy. I'm wondering, like, what's the status of his relationship with Shannon Sharp at this point? Did he tell him beforehand that he was going to say this? I would hope so. But to do that, it almost sounds like a shot at Shannon Sharp, right? So if y'all heard it just now, what did he say? We know the biggest reason why LeBron don't like me because I'm not Shannon Sharp and it's not GOAT status over here. That's wild that he would say Shannon Sharp's name like that. I thought that was very interesting.
My GOAT is Michael Jordan. 35,000 points, eclipsing Kareem Abdul-Jabbar with over 38,000, ultimately 40,000, now 50,000, another all-star appearance, another 50-point game, whatever.
Very interesting. So you see what he's doing there? He's deliberately pointing at LeBron is hanging around trying to accumulate stats and accomplishments to build up a GOAT case. This is the same thing I've been saying for the longest, right? LeBron is not still here because he loves playing. I truly don't believe that. Again, I don't know him personally, but I don't believe he's still around because he loves playing basketball. I believe he's around for two things. He doesn't know what he would do without the attention, one. And two, he is trying to build up a GOAT case on paper, not between the lines. And, so he's like, well, I got this stat. They got to say I'm the GOAT now, right? Because if you notice, the LeBroniacs, every time he does something else, well, this makes him the GOAT. Well, I thought the previous thing made him the GOAT. Well, I thought the thing before that made him the GOAT. And the thing before that. But every time he does something else, well, this makes him the GOAT. Right. So this is how you know that those people are lying.
Ain't my GOAT. I watch the game. I'm a student of the game. I know a GOAT when I see one. And he is a GOAT of this generation. But all time, it's Michael Jordan. That's who the hell it is. That's the GOAT. You see, Kobe came into the game with a heart. LeBron developed one. First several years, it wasn't like that because he was scared to get to the free throw line. He was never scared of an opponent. I would never disrespect greatness of LeBron James like that. He was scared to get to the free throw line. That's where the fall away jumpers came from. That was where the hesitancy to go to the hole came from. Anything that could finally lend himself towards going to the free throw line, he wasn't trying to do. But there's this thing about heart that you got to pay attention to. You see, when you lack a speck of it at any point, particularly back in the day, there would be impediments and roadblocks to prevent you from getting it. Why do I call Michael Jordan the GOAT over LeBron James? Because at his very best, compared to LeBron at his very best, I'm going MJ all day, every day. But here's the biggest thing. It was Scottie Pippen with the migraine and others associated with with Michael Jordan that prevented him from climbing that ladder over the Detroit Pistons until the third or fourth or fifth try, whenever it was.
All right, so two things. I find it really interesting that Stephen A is basically out here saying that LeBron suffers from tiny heart syndrome. I've been saying that for years, but I find it interesting that somebody, again, with the mouthpiece and as powerful in the sports media as Stephen A. Smith would publicly say that, one. And two, in fairness, where he's saying that it was Scottie Pippen with the migraines and, others that kept Michael Jordan from ascending to the zenith sooner in his career. I think that in fairness, there's a lot of people who would say that the same thing goes for LeBron James in his first stint in Cleveland. Right. So, there's that. But the only thing I'll say about that is I think he had the number one seed in the East twice. He won 66 games at one point. I think 64 games at another. So he had really, really good teams in Cleveland. He may not have had the superstar teammates, but he had really good teams. And we also have to acknowledge that teammates that got brought in for him, he had multiple former All-Stars. But those guys, as we know, and as I've said time and again, it's a myth that LeBron makes other guys better because when other guys come to LeBron, other guys who are All-Stars or former All-Stars, they can't play the same game. And because they get relegated, to playing a very specific role in the LeBron system, the system, as some people want to call it, right? They can't produce enough to help him. And then when that doesn't happen, it's their fault. He doesn't have enough help. No. You took these guys out of what they do well that could have helped you because you got to have all the numbers. You got to have the ball in your hands all the time. You got to be the guy. You could still be the guy. You're going to be the guy because you were better than all those guys. But there are a number of former All-Stars who were brought into Cleveland to help him get over the hump. But because he only can play a certain way, that didn't end up happening. And it perfectly fed into the narrative that he never had enough help. Dan Gilbert didn't help him enough. That's why he had to take his talents to South Beach, which Rich Paul says he was ahead of his time in using that phrase as if we're stupid and we didn't hear Kobe Bryant say it. But anyway, let's carry on.
It wasn't because of MJ. And I'm telling you here right now, as God is my witness, LeBron, as great and phenomenal as he is, if he were playing in that era, as I've said on many occasions, and he'd gone against Michael Jordan would have tried to snatch his heart right out of his chest before he ever arrived to Miami to learn to win with D Wade and with Pat Riley. That's my proclamation.
Real quick. So this is something else about LeBron. LeBron, like many other people in the modern sports media, athletes and sports media personnel, acts as if we have no memory or we have no evidence. But LeBron said, publicly, mind you, that he went to Miami because he knew he couldn't win in Cleveland. All right, cool. No problem there. He knew he couldn't win in Cleveland, so he went to Miami. Got you. But then he says that he would have had the same career if he never went to Miami. What? I want you to explain that one away, Nino. I'm going to say it again for you because I know you're the LeBron guy in the chat. You too, Sid Bubba. You too. You too, Transformer. He says, LeBron said that he went to Miami because he knew he couldn't win in Cleveland. Then, more recently, he says he would have had the same career if he never went to Miami. One of y'all LeBron people make that make sense. I want to know. Carry on.
I said it before and I'll say it again. That's why Michael Jordan is my GOAT. It's just a basketball opinion to me. It's clearly a lot more to LeBron James. Choking in the finals against the Dallas Mavericks in 2011, fine. Us getting in an argument about something in black media, and fine. The only consistent blemish I've placed against LeBron James is that he is not the greatest of all time. That's the frustration that's been brewing up, more so than anything else. Bring up Bronny if you want to. Bronny James, I'm going to do my job. Same energy. You mess up, I'm going to mention it. You succeed, I'm going to be there celebrating it. That's what happens in the pros. You got nothing to worry about with me. All the best to you. I wish you nothing but the best. You're a great kid who I believe is going to be in the NBA someday sooner than later on a regular, consistent basis. To the James family, my apologies for all of this happening. To the Draymond Greens of the world, I'm sad I hurt your friend or I upset your friend, bro. Evidently, that matters a lot to you. My bad. To the basketball world, I'm Stephen A. Smith, damn it. And I'm going to cover the sport the way I cover the sport. Ain't nobody changing me on that. I'm going to give it to you how you deserve it. Good, bad, or indifferent. And that includes LeBron James. Ain't nobody changing. This was not about Bronny. This was about LeBron. He did all of this with his words and his proclamations.
Yup.
And his assertions.
Yup.
He also did it to show that it really does hurt him not to be the GOAT. Oh, well.
So you see how he ended that. You see how he finished that out. This was not about Bronny. It was all about LeBron. Who said that from the very beginning? I know I keep banging that drum, but who said it from the very beginning? Not from the beginning of this whole thing with Stephen A. and LeBron. From the time that LeBron years ago started talking about wanting to play in the league with his son. Who said that? I've been consistent. I don't make stuff up. I don't jump on the freaking, what do you call it? I don't jump on the bandwagon when it starts rolling. That's not how I move. That's not how I move. I said this years ago, but it's all good because what else do I say? All I have to do is sit back and wait. LeBron's always going to prove me right. There we go. All right, y'all. So that's the end of the clip. Obviously, I had a great time with that. I thought Stephen A. was cooking, and I love what he had to say there. And I also love the fact that this gave us, man, this must have gave us 10 or 12 hours of content, this whole thing. This is insane. But now it's time for the most important segment. That's the segment where I get feedback from you guys, my beloved listeners. All right, you know the number, 904-219-8264, 904-219-8264. Give me a call. I can't wait to hear you guys' thoughts on this. Let's go. In the meantime, let me see what we got in the in some of these chats. Let's see. Why did you ask Nino about what Melo and Wade having MJ as a GOAT? I don't really understand that. All right, let me take this call. Sid Bubble, good morning, Chief. How are you?
Pretty good. The number one LeBron fan in the chat.
I don't know. It might be Nino. Or it might be Transformer. I don't know.
Me, Nino, and Transformer.
That's right. Yes, sir.
But what was the question you said for the LeBron fans? You said,
I
why?
said, make it make sense how he could say out of his own mouth, I went to Cleveland. I went to Miami, because I knew I couldn't win in Cleveland. And then later, I think before this past season started, he was in some interview and he was saying, I would have had the same career if I never went to Miami. Make that make sense.
Okay. As far as talent-wise, LeBron was just the best player during that time period, bar none. Now, if he got on the right team and the right system to accentuate his strengths, then I think it wouldn't be exactly the same in Miami, but I think he still would have a good career. And I think Gill said that a while too. If he would have had, like, let's just say, like, some good shooters.
Mm-hmm.
But I give LeBron, but see, this is the thing we have to give him credit for. Now, 2011, and that's pretty much, this is why LeBron's mad at Stephen A. Okay. That was my theory. That's when I called just all. No, this wasn't about Bronny. This was years. Stephen A. basically called the man mini-me. He called him impotent. So
wait. He called him what? Say that again?
He called his play impotent. So basically, and he called him smaller than mini-me. He was pointing at the thing. He was calling LeBron. Oh, he went at him.
Well, but shouldn't he have, though? He was getting cooked up by Jason Terry and JJ Barea, two guys that don't deserve to be on the floor with LeBron, if we're being honest.
Well, you're right. But you're right. But the way that he came at him, LeBron never forgot. So he got better. After then, he didn't give no more interviews to Stephen A. He only talked to, like, a Rachel Nicholson, Dave McMenamin. Right. If you notice, he didn't talk to Stephen A. since then. It was hiding by since then. So that was brewing when all this came out. That's when I called just out, man, this ain't about Bronny. But here's the deal. LeBron got better. He got better. When he got a shot coach. He went to the Kings. So those type of things, yeah, you can say he's this and that, but the man is willing to work hard. I'm going to tell you something about narcissistic people.
Yes.
I work with them all the time. I get a lot out of them.
Okay.
But I know how to cater to their ego to use that narcissism. You don't think that man taking all them shots and trying not to practice to go at Stephen A? Oh, I knew what he did. Did he have a good game after he went after Stephen A?
I can't remember. Weird. I can't remember.
Oh, yeah, he did. Okay. He had a great game. Oh, yes, he did.
Okay, so he used it. All right.
He used it, right. So, yeah, he's a narcissist, but narcissists think that Michael Jordan was a narcissist.
Oh yeah.
He put a pretty package in the bow on it. But we don't say that. Why do you think Scottie Pippen got mad at us? Why do you think Pippen mad at us? Mike was a hell of a narcissist.
That's a different thing.
No, but I'm just saying Mike was a narcissist.
Right.
Now, he knew how to hide it better.
That's what I was about to say. Some of LeBron, it just feels so different. You know what I mean?
It feels different, right. Yeah. No, LeBron, it's generational though. Now, Mike don't do everything on the court with the guys and all the guys on the court. That's where he gonna take it out on you. He's good behind it. Now, be like Mike. He'll smile and do all that, but that ain't the real Michael Jordan. That ain't the real Mike. The ones that really know him. But LeBron had an image, and I'll say this about LeBron: you gotta. I've seen a video of him at 18, drama therapy. You can do your assessment. I've been a professional mental patient for about 30 years. Hey, qualified like you, brother. But I'm just saying, when you 18, people literally walking up, talking junk to you, and you can't react. You always got to be on point. It's almost robotic. You can't really say what you feel. You the man then, 18, and you've been that way since then. So it's kind of like those child prodigies are weird. All of them. Michael Jackson. They don't think like we think.
That's true.
Really think about it. LeBron's a child prodigy.
Well, so was Kobe.
Kobe was kind of weird too with other people. So he didn't really get along with folks like that either.
Well,
so child prodigies are weird.
Let me interrupt you real quick. The only thing I'll say about Kobe, obviously from the outside, but my only thing that I saw in regards to Kobe, he just wanted everyone else to work as hard as he did. And he saw that we got this amazing opportunity. If you're not putting in the work to be the best you can be, I don't respect that. That's the only thing I recollect seeing from Kobe. So I don't know that I see that as being, weird or whatever. You know what I mean? No.
But I'm just saying, remember when Kobe first got there, he didn't get along with teammates. Well, he didn't integrate with people.
Part of the problem was he's 17 years old. He couldn't do the things that his teammates were doing in order to hang out with them and engage with them in the way they wanted to engage.
Right, but LeBron was 18. So He's also a prodigy. So I'm just saying, the way that these guys grow up and deal with stuff is way different from normal people.
Okay, that's a fair point.
He couldn't. He had to be him in order to function. I just thank God he's the man that he is now. Hey, he could have been a whole lot worse. Just think about it. But I'm just saying at age 8, one of the things I heard at age 18, I had to be on point everything. I couldn't react. I can't go at people. I can't fight. That's a buildup that man had all them years. I can't say this. I got to be. But Mike did the same thing.
Chief, you're right. The only thing I'm going to say is, why did he never, that buildup never exploded on the floor when he's literally getting physically accosted, right? And that's my problem. You don't want to blow up against dudes that are your size.
Actually, it did when we played against Celtics. That's when he just like. Oh no! I mean,
no. I get that. And I always give him credit for that because God,
because that was build up. That was build up.
Well, no, but I'm talking about him spazzing on somebody. Like think about it. Why can't you? We seen Shaq fight. We seen Karl Malone fight. We seen Barkley fight. We seen Michael Jordan ready to throw hands. We seen Kobe physically get into altercation. He got 2-pieced, but you get the point. Yeah. We've seen all these all-time greats get into it. So why couldn't LeBron? He's above all that? LeBron's a coward.
Nah, that man ain't scared.
That
man ain't scared. Let me tell you why.
Man. Go ahead. Tell me why.
He can't move like we can. Because if you're the head of a crime family, you can't go out there and be putting hands on everybody.
But all those other guys, they're theoretically heads of crime families too at one point, right?
No, not like him.
Why not like him?
Because he got people to do. He got the clutch. He got the team. That's what he got his men for.
Okay. So let me say also in regards to what I was saying earlier, I'm certainly not advocating for brothers to be out there throwing hands. I'm just making the example of you got real tough when it was little Stephen A. And I mean little, in terms of against an NBA player, but you're not tough on the floor when it's back. Yes.
This is why I'm gonna give you some pushback.
Okay.
Man, he ain't gonna go out there and do nothing to Stephen A. We all know Stephen A. do that.
You're right.
I do that. Right. You do that, Stephen A. Now, what did I tell you? I tell you? I said, bro, if this is Charles Barkley, if this is the X-Men, or if this is Anthony Mason,
oh my goodness,
you better run.
Yeah, they might have threw Stephen A. in the sleeper. Those guys,
but they wouldn't care. So if it was any of those guys, it's LeBron.
No, Charles Oakley is good for slapping somebody.
That's what I'm saying. Those guys, I'd be worried. But LeBron, he wasn't worried about LeBron.
Right.
He knew that.
Right.
But like I said, what did I say before? I said, this is build up because Stephen A. was kind of side shotting LeBron a couple of times. And LeBron just said, you know what? I got enough of these side shots. Skip don't just tell you how it feels. But I think Skip also, I can say this. Skip doesn't get as personal. He'll critique his play. If you ever watch, and I watched Skip since Cold Pizza Day, analyzed him to death. He loved LeBron as a person. He just really want to hit him as a player. And then, but Skip's a narcissist.
Yes, he is. Yes, he is.
All of narcissists now. Don't get it. All of them got egos in what they want to do.
Right.
And all of these guys they're narcissistic as well. But they do it a different way. We just don't like the way LeBron do it. And the problem with a lot of people, they don't like LeBron, and they don't like us LeBron fans. They can't stand us.
So,
I go to any chat room. They try to come in. They be trying to take me. I had to kind of.
Yeah, but Chief, that's because what happens is, and I had to stop this after I had a talk with Transformer, and after I listened to some other people. You guys are LeBron fans, but you're still normal, rational people. Most LeBron fans are not. And that's how you get lumped into that group. You understand what I'm saying? So that's why people hear you're a LeBron fan and automatically they assume that you're crazy, and you're bugging out like the rest of his fans, because as you know, he got a lot of fans that are completely insane, right? And so that's what happens. But there are some of y'all that are logical, rational people. You, Nino, Transformer, y'all straight. I get it.
Yeah. But here's the deal. But the thing is, it's not a middle ground with LeBron. It's either I don't like this dude, or I love him. It's kind of like there's no really, no really middle ground with him. He's not a middle ground person. I don't like the way this guy moves. I don't deal with it, blah, blah, blah. Or he can do no wrong. So it's just so middle extremes. And then a lot of times when you have those extremes, some people say, oh, man, he ain't even top 15 or top 20 player. Then I have to kind of like, okay, name the guys who got his credentials above. I know a lot of guys don't like the way he moves, but one thing I always try to do, if I have a standard, if my standard is you get so many finals MVPs, regular season MVPs, and if I hold that standard, hey, Mike got the most. I can put Mike there, or Magic, or Kareem, or LeBron. That's the way I do mine. But everybody got their list, but then they get mad. Like, then they get mad at me. I'm like, dude, I do the same thing for everybody else.
Right.
But because I'm a LeBron fan, air quote, something's got to be wrong.
Right. No, I get it. For me, it's just I can't overlook all the losing. I can't overlook that, and I can't overlook the context of how he came about those things. But that's a whole nother story.
Right, but this is what I had to address the losing, because some people got mad. People actually got mad at Stephen A. saying this man number 2. And they said Stephen A. is doing that to suck up to LeBron. No, Rob Parker had him at number 2. Rob don't even wrong with, Rob had him at number 2 too. And I guess maybe we're looking at it on what he's accomplished. And they sometimes what you like. But I say with the losses, everybody had their losses. Everybody had to take their lumps. My boy MJ, why people get mad? I say no. MJ had to physically get beat down by the Clippers.
Yes.
He got beat down.
Yes.
And I had to root for him to get through it. It was tough. Those days were rough, man.
Yeah, man.
So when I say he's the GOAT, he earned it. I'm not just giving it, whether I like Mike, dislike Mike, he earned it. I see that he had to get out there. Same thing with Magic. Magic had to, y'all, hey, I know you probably was being glee when Magic dribbled the ball out. That's, I was bad with him that summer. Magic suffered, I suffered.
I wasn't old enough at that time. I was like 6 at that time.
You weren't old enough, but I'm just saying, I was bad too.
Yeah, going back and doing knowing, I'm happy about that. That's why I'm still mad at him to this day for the junior skyhook in the lane. Anyway, we're not talking about all that. But you got anything else?
That's their trauma. But I'm just trying to get people the insight of probably how this man thinks. From the time you're 18-year-old and you can't react the way you want to react. Yeah, that probably would have that passive aggressive. He can't react. You have to watch every step you do. You're signing contracts at 18, $90 million. Now you got a family. You got to behave a certain way. Is everything manufactured? So a lot of it, is,
What about KG, though? Real quick before I let you go. What about KG? Now, he wasn't LeBron, but he came in, he was high-flying, attention, young guy, didn't go to college, and he been wild for a long time, right?
But here's the deal. KG didn't have that expectation. He had the money, but the expectation was,
that's fair.
Those expectations that LeBron had, even if I win 4 championships, I score a ton of points, I could never fully get appreciated.
Right.
From the time I'm 18 to 40, I averaged 25 points with 20-something years. People still are not going to acknowledge me. Now, if I'm LeBron, I wouldn't be mad at Stephen A. Smith for saying I'm second. And I'm a billionaire playing. I'm the second greatest player.
But
my kids are billionaires. Life is good. That's the way I would see it. But you gotta think that man had to grow up, like Michael Jackson
in the fishbowl.
So,
right.
So when those guys had to kind of do the fishbowl thing, they gonna do some weird stuff. So so that's kind of like with Michael Jackson. But some of it he couldn't move like the rest of us. He would want to in certain ways. He'd act out. Certain things like LeBron would just do something weird for no reason, give you just bait. Sometimes he didn't have to say nothing about Bronny. He didn't have to, but he couldn't help himself. So that's when guys like you sit back and wait and be like, see, I knew it. I knew it. What did I say?
I'm always going to sit back and wait.
That's all you got to do. But I'm just saying, this was drama therapy. I know he's a therapist, but just really think about what this guy had to go through all those years from 18 to 20, and you can just never ever seem to get that. He just never seemed to get that validation.
No doubt. Well, listen, I'm gonna let you go, Chief, man. I appreciate the call. Thank you so much as always, man. Appreciate you.
All
right, brother.
Bye.
All right, great call from Sid Bubba. Great call. Who's next? Definitely want to hear what y'all got to say. The only thing I'll say in regards to what Sid Bubba just said, and yes, we can't ever really know what LeBron has had to go through, especially from 18 years old. Okay, cool. But one, he chose not to go to college, so I'm not the guy that really gives people a pass when they got to go through stuff based on their own choices. So that's one. He chose to live this life. Two, if you asked him, would he trade it? Would he trade being a billionaire? You think he would? So why should we feel sorry for that? That's kind of my thought. Why should we feel sorry for that? We know good and damn well he wouldn't trade it. He wouldn't trade this life. He wouldn't trade this money. All right, let's see what we got here. Format Podcast, who's this?
This is Drama Therapy.
What's going on, man? How you doing?
What's going on? I got me on the edge of my seat.
No doubt.
I appreciate that last caller.
Yeah.
There's just some things I think we got to clear up. We're giving LeBron this title as, even if people got him as top two.
Not
they're
me.
saying it's because no, not me either. But they're saying it's because what he accomplished.
Mm-hmm.
But they're missing is how he accomplished it.
Exactly.
So
there you go.
Not just the losses, but inside of the wins.
Mm-hmm.
His first win had to come from, not his first one, his second, with the Cleveland one that mattered.
Mm-hmm.
Had to come from getting Draymond suspended.
Mm-hmm. I talked about that ad nauseum.
The two other Warrior starters, I think one broke his leg. Yeah, Bogut and Iguodala had a fractured back or something.
Okay. So there you go.
Just the fact that he would go as far as advocating for Draymond to get suspended, to me, you're trying to decrease the competitiveness so that you can win.
Mm-hmm.
And then you create a super team, and then expect to get the same level of respect as a Giannis or a Jokic that did it the right way. So yeah, you got 4 rings, but you did it in a dishonorable way. Mm-hmm. You did it in a way that is, John Stockton said, taking a helicopter to the top of the mountain.
There you go. That's right.
And so because you didn't climb the mountain, all you can do is say, "Oh, but look, I scored 50,000 points." Mm-hmm. But look, and make things how he did the bubble. He's gaslighting us and saying the bubble was one of the hardest championships.
Uh-huh.
Why? Because you were on a resort.
Yes, correct.
It makes no sense at all. So everybody's looking at how what he's done, and then looking at people. For some reason, people are giving him credit for since the age of 18 being in the spotlight. Mm-hmm. That was his choice.
I just finished saying that. You must have missed it while you were calling. I just finished saying that. I'm not big on giving people a pass for things that take place as a result of their own choices. I get it.
And things that he loved. He loves the spotlight.
Mm-hmm. That's right.
He tattooed Chosen One on his back.
He did.
He had an interview, and he says he believes he was chosen to play basketball.
There you go.
And that's not even enough for him. He has such a grandiose self-image that he also has to expand out of that. That's where that whole more than an athlete movement started. Because he wanted to jump into politics. He wanted to jump into, all entertainment and movies and stuff like that. He felt he's the type of person that believes that no matter what he does, he's the best at it. And that's different than people that look at it like no matter what they do, they're going to try their hardest at it. That was like a Kobe and a Michael, getting cut from high school. You put in like seriously hard work. And then when you start accomplishing, and you don't get too big headed, you maintain that competitive spirit.
Right.
LeBron's not a competitive spirit. It's I'm the best. You have to agree that I'm the best, or your opinion doesn't matter. So, like, that's what. Last thing is that I don't like how people keep on ascribing the word narcissist to everybody. There's no evidence that Michael Jordan is a narcissist, and the people are saying that because of how he treated his teammates and how competitive he was. But when you look at what a narcissist is, you have to have 5 out of the 9 criteria all the time to be considered a narcissist. Okay. So just because you say somebody is arrogant doesn't mean they're a narcissist. Just because somebody is, manipulative at times, that doesn't mean they're a narcissist. So Skip Bayless, he's not somebody that you could say is a narcissist. He just has some behaviors. You can make an argument that Stephen A. is as well, because Stephen A. often avoids being blamed. He always tries to place blame on other people for his actions. He believes he's more than he really is. He's $100 million man. You could say the same thing about him, but the difference with LeBron is you see how much it's magnified with LeBron, and that if you don't agree with him, there's something wrong with you, and that mindset is what creates this cult. That's what creates the Bron sexuals, because it's the same mentality as with Donald Trump. If you are not with me, you're against me, and if you're against me, you don't matter. And that creates cult-like behavior.
Wow. Okay. That's deep. Man. Okay. You got anything else, drama therapy?
No, that's it. I had to get my rant on. Had my blood boiling.
Yeah, no, I really appreciate the call, man. I wasn't even planning on doing the show today because we did a 3-topic live last night, but yesterday I actually watched this clip and I was like, oh, Stephen A. was cooking. I gotta get on with this.
Yeah, he went in. He took some subtle shots at LeBron.
Weren't so subtle.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. But listen, thank you so much for calling Drama Therapy. I appreciate you, and thank you for the support, brother.
Thanks, man. Keep up the good work.
All right, fam. I appreciate it. Wow. Yeah. So deep stuff. All right. Who's next? In the meanwhile, let me see what we got in the chat. I thought somebody at the door. Let's see. Horizon Vibe says, so this was interesting. Bubble was the easiest chip ever. Safe environment, no crazy belligerent fans, no traveling, 3 or 4 months of rest before the playoffs even started. Never happened before in NBA history. That is interesting. I'll address that in a minute. Nino, what's going on, brother?
Man, I gotta break it down, man. You gotta break it down. See,
I appreciate you.
I'm going straight into it. It's not like you agree with the last caller, right?
I agree with a lot of what he said, yeah.
So he said MJ, we can't say that. So MJ and Charles Barkley fell out. Why?
They fell out because he didn't like that Barkley criticized him and said that he's not a good owner and that he surrounds himself with yes men. I think that was the reasoning.
Was that a fact, or was that if we gonna speculate, let's speculate. Can we speculate that he wasn't a great owner, a good owner?
No, I think that's a pretty fair statement to make. Like he never had a team that was he never had a good team. I think in his time owning the Hornets and Bobcats, they made the playoffs like twice.
Oh, so I don't know what we call that, but anyway, next topic. Okay. Let's say we're gonna say you said Bron said that he would be the same. He would still be great minus the rings. He did say minus less rings.
No. Let me clarify. So this is what. Remember, he said he went to Miami because he knew he couldn't win in Cleveland, right? So there's that. That's a pretty plain statement. Then I think before this past season, he was doing an interview and he said, and I remember even Shannon Sharp had to get on him about it, which was crazy. He said that he would have had the same career if he never went to Miami. That's what he said. Those two statements are in direct conflict with one another. Go ahead, Nino.
He did say, he said minus the rings. I watched it. I remember he said maybe less rings, but he would have had the same career, meaning he would still been the great. Because he was already a Hall of Famer before he went to Miami.
But you can't have, how are you going to have the same career First of all, how can you even say I'm going to have the same career minus the rings? Clearly, that's not the same career. And again, the fact that you said I had to go to Miami because I knew I couldn't win in Cleveland, that right there is a very definitive statement. So what you're saying is by default, based on the first statement, even if we never heard the second statement, we know that he could not by default have had the same career had he not gone to Miami. Right. We know that just based on the first statement alone. We didn't even have to hear the second one. See what I'm saying? LeBron acts like people are dumb, but this is not difficult to understand his words when he's speaking. Go ahead.
But I think people with y'all are having it both ways because I don't know if you do it, but basically he gets punished. Well, not punished. I don't like these words. It held against him that he went to so many finals, right? And he didn't win, but so many. That's true, right?
I hold that against him. I do.
People say that it's better. This is what people say. Now I don't know. I just watch basketball all the time. Mm-hmm. They say it's better to not have been to the final and it be on your record than lose in the conference finals and all that. I don't agree with all that. But for legacy purposes, it's good. Even the last caller said Draymond got suspended, but he did not say the first playoffs. He didn't say the first playoffs. Kyrie and Kevin Love got injured and was out in the first game. He didn't say that. Now he didn't mention that at all. But he said, Draymond got suspended for one game and they had a 3-1 lead. This is what we talking about. This is what I'm talking about.
So here's the difference, Nino. Here's where my problem, me personally, Bruce, my problem comes in here. When it comes to LeBron, the reason, and I try to be consistent, but the reason there's the room to treat him differently is because through all of that, he's telling us that he's the GOAT. Rich Paul is telling us that he's the GOAT. Every interview Rich Paul goes on, no matter what's the topic, he finds a way to work in why LeBron is the GOAT. LeBron has told us on multiple occasions he's the GOAT, right? So now, can we compare even another great player? Can we compare him to someone who's saying that he's the greatest of all time and that many people consider the greatest of all time? That's not the same thing, right? So we can't hold it. How can we hold that to the same standard? That's what I'm saying. That's why it's different. So that may suck to you, but LeBron, much like this whole Bronny situation, put himself in that with his proclamations and the statements that he has made throughout time, and the people around him. You tracking?
Right, but we still talking about Bron. We still talking about his players got injured. If you say Bron, Draymond got suspended, but you don't say Kyrie and Kevin Love got hurt in that series. But if you don't say go ahead. What you saying?
No, I was gonna say we can say that. What up? Shout out, opinion stated. I ain't even see you there, brother. Good to have you. Good to have you. Yes, but the thing is this: you can say, Kyrie and Kevin Love got injured that first finals, and that is a true fact, no doubt. Oh, excuse me. However, you say that, but then on the other hand, you tell me how incredible it was that LeBron averaged with 35, 13, and 9 or whatever it was, right? And how he should have been Finals MVP even in the loss, right? So you tell me that. Not you, Nino, but the irrational LeBron fans, right? I've heard many of them tell me that over the years. Okay, well, he's so great. He's the GOAT. Get it done. You here now. Carry it over the threshold. You here now. Raise your level of play. Do it.
I think that's foolish. Because I think there's way more to go into a basketball game than that. So
I agree, but that's not what they say. They try to say that he's so incredible for everything that he does. Well, do it. Do it. Seems simple to me. And it seems simple to me in response to the argument that they are pushing. I, like you, understand that there's a lot more to it than that, right? And that, it's nearly impossible for one man, no matter how great, to beat a very good to great five. I get it. But
we seen Jordan go crazy on Bird, his team just wasn't good enough.
Nino, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just responding in a fashion commensurate to what they, meaning the LeBroniacs, are saying. So that's what I'm saying. So I understand you completely. And you are rational. They are not. You see what I mean? They want it both ways.
You got some of them. Some of them just, I don't know. That's just different breed there.
Mm-hmm.
The next thing I want to say, well, man, it was a bunch. But we say, I compare it to like this. the confidence, like I don't know where this come from that he should say he go in the best. This is time. Everybody feel like that. KD feel like that. You supposed to feel like I don't know where this come from. If you say, like you said, this podcast. If you say you got the best podcast, somebody, like you said, somebody might have the right to critique, but see, that's where everybody's different. I'm gonna be right there with you. Like, hey, I'm gonna put this up with anybody. I'm not gonna be. I think there's a difference
between confidence and delusion, right? So
it ain't very far.
No, it may not be very far. I'm confident in the work that we put out on this show. I think we do a great show. Are there places where because I constantly listen back to these episodes, are there places I could improve? Absolutely. Are there little things that I could fix? Absolutely. Right. I get that. But I'm not delusional enough to tell you I have the best podcast in the world. I'm fully aware I don't. Now, am I working towards having a fantastic podcast? Maybe one that one day could be up there. Sure. But I'm not going to sit here and be delusional and lie to you and tell you I have that. So again, it's not far, but there is a difference between confidence and delusion.
I don't think it's very far. That's why Michael Jordan used to make. They said MJ used to make up stuff. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. You got to be able to throw it off.
Well, I think the difference is when you're that much better than people, it may be easy to get complacent. So you have to find a reason to, want to go out there and compete. So.
But my only problem issue with this thing, now see, on the court, if you leave it on the court, I tell you all the time, people got the right to feel, and what they see is basketball. None of us are professionals right now, and we not just players.
That's right.
So all of us got games, even great players, we can say great, we don't even like their game. Bron ain't the first, because I don't really like Luka's game, but I can't say that he's not good. Right. I mean, I say he's great, even though I don't like his game.
Right. No, that's fair.
I like Jokic's game. Embiid, I don't know.
I love Embiid's game when he's healthy.
When we try to psychologically get in a player and say what we feel that they feel, in our opinion, this guy means this. This guy, This how he feel about this. I don't know if we can do that. I mean, I guess we can because we fans and but that don't mean that we are right because we are trying to analyze what's in somebody else's brain. That's the point I see. So when they did it to Stephen A. Smith, he didn't like it, but that's what he do to players all day. We're not talking about the journalist side. You stick to the journalist side. You have the fact censor. Stephen A. is on the entertainment, so they're not paying him $100 million to be no journalist. They paying him $100 million to entertain.
Yes, that's correct. Absolutely, no question.
And my last point would be, I don't believe he talking about the GOAT debate because our brother and friends got MJ number one. None of them guys that they've been at, and all of them have been asked, have said that LeBron the GOAT. Rich Paul said it because, Rich Paul is rich because, I ain't going to say he's rich because of Bron, but Bron got him pretty nice start on his business, know.
Yep.
And he probably see the game that way. But Wade have been asked, he said MJ, Melo, all those guys said MJ.
Yeah, that's because they know. That's because they know.
But they his friends, though. So when he gets mad at Stephen A.
But just because you're my homeboy don't mean I gotta lie to you.
No, that's what I'm saying. But Stephen A. said that it's because of the GOAT debate that he got him number two.
Okay.
But his friends got him number two. I believe in LeBron James' heart. I grew up loving Allen Iverson,
Right.
So I believe in LeBron's heart. For real, he's not even mad at that. Because he grew up idolizing this guy.
He knows he's not better than a lot of these guys. He knows it. But that's why he's working so hard to rack up these stats and accolades. I keep saying he's building the paper man, not the best player.
He's building the paper man, though, Bruce. But who's to say? See, this is what I'm saying. I'm gonna go at this.
Okay.
Who's to say that this guy really don't love to play basketball?
No, I think he
Who's
does.
to say he don't know what else he gonna do?
I think he does, but I think that I think he loves everything that comes with it more. I think he loves playing basketball. You can't play basketball at this high level for this long if you don't love it. So I wouldn't say that he doesn't love playing basketball. I'm with you on that.
Right. Kobe only quit because of the Achilles, you know?
Yeah,
Before that, people forget about that. Yep, well, that's all I got, man. You appreciate it.
No doubt. No, thank you for the call, man. I appreciate it. Always, man. All right, brother. Opinion Stated was good, my guy. Glad to see you here, man. Opinion Stated says Hall of Fame ballers and his friends got MJ as the GOAT. That's wild. I never thought about that. Yeah. I'm trying to think. There's not too many ball players. Well, I guess a lot of the younger ones now, but most of them have Jordan as the GOAT. Like, they understand, but and this is the thing. I think LeBron getting mad because people don't call him the GOAT, I think that's a front because he knows to himself he's not, but I think he might get frustrated because of all the work, time, and money he's put into building that over the years. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is. And then, for Stephen A to come out and say it, he's upset with me because I'm not Shannon Sharp. I didn't even really get into that. I'm really curious to know how that comment, if that comment will affect his relationship with Shannon Sharp. Or if they had discussed it prior to that Stephen A was going to say that, because that's crazy to me that, you went out, you got Shannon to come and be on the show and come back to ESPN and you would say something like that. But maybe they're not that cool, but as a businessman, Stephen A recognized the gravitas in the independent space that Shannon Sharp carried, and that he would bring a large fan base with him to First Take. So that's the thought. All right, let's do this. I'm gonna give about one more minute here. If I don't get any more calls, I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this live. As always, I appreciate all you guys for being here, man. I appreciate your activity in the chat. I appreciate your calls. I appreciate your thoughts, man, your support. You guys are freaking great, man. And I got to say, this is why I love doing this show, man, interacting with you guys and getting different thoughts and being able to get my thoughts out there. And, also, even if it's getting pushback, even if it's things I don't agree with, even if it's you LeBron fans, man, it's cool to really get out here and just have this sports talk with you guys. All right, so I'm going to leave it right here. It doesn't look like I'm going to get any more calls. Y'all have a great day. I appreciate you being here. I'm going to try to be back on Saturday. I think I got something planned for Saturday, so we will see. Yes, as Nino says, share, hit the like and subscribe. Appreciate that. Share the show, please. We all are here talking sports, so that means you guys have people in your circle that you talk sports with. So share the show with them, man. I appreciate all of that. Y'all have a great one, and we out. Peace.